Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Man United Agenda. It is, what day is it today? It's Tuesday, isn't it? The 3rd of September. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm very lucky to be joined by three of my favourite people tonight. They're all in my head, but the people that are present here are Mr. B, Dora, and Yabba. Yabba, how are you?
Yeah, good. I will say happy birthday to my sister. It's her birthday today. Also, the day when the Second World War started, so I always remind her of that. The 3rd of September 1945 is a dreadful day in history, but a lovely day for my sister. But yeah, so happy birthday, Aisha. I love you dearly.
Dora, what's going on?
Well, before we ask Dora, I'm just asking Dora, when is your birthday, or does your birthday have any significant other dates as well?
Is it tied to any world wars that we might know?
I don't think so. I'm born on 28th of January.
All right, you're Capricorn. I'm the 4th of January. Yes, we're.
You're not Capricorn.
Yeah, Capricorn.
No, I'm Aquarius.
That's
I'm
Aquarius.
28th.
You said January.
28th of January.
Oh, 28th. That's my sister's birthday. My other sister's birthday.
28th of
January.
Oh, wow.
What
Great
war
minds.
started on that day?
No, but I know Gigi Buffon. Gigi Buffon is born on the same day as well, so same date. Yeah. But by the way, I cannot top this. Opening by Yaba today. So I will say, good to be here once again. Third day in a row streaming about United. I mean, you're going to get overdosed, but I need to be on this week because I will probably be away for the next one. And I'm trying to compensate a bit, but yeah, hopefully I'm not too boring for you guys. But yeah, good to be here.
Mr. B, some normalcy, please.
Yeah, my birthday is the 2nd of March, and as far as I know, there's nothing famous. I think there might be a future alien invasion happening. In the year 3030 on the 2nd of March, but that's about it. That's about it. You lot are crazy, boy. I swear to God.
There is, I mean, look what you people are doing to my comment section. We've got Lucky Singh in the house. Incio is right. Go management team, help support the training ground. You left that Lucky Singh at 5 to 6. And I mean, I don't know. All right. Andrew's off on one. Bilal, hello. How are you? I hope you're doing well. And we've got Johnny Hill. Andrew, I will celebrate when Ten Hag is sacked. It's Richard Herbert. Good evening, lads. Hope you're all good. Bilal's birthday is the same as Serena, which is Andrew's cousin. Are they the Williams cousins? Is it Venus and Serena Williams?
They're sisters.
So my birthday is a Serena.
So Andrew is called Andrew Williams, and he's talking about Serena Williams, the tennis player.
Oh, right. Right, I got it now.
Yeah. Okay. We got We Deserve Better, so a full panel tonight. Way.
Whey protein. He's plugging whey protein there. The gym beans. Okay.
Yeah. Richard Herbert, sorry, push 2 instead. Mine is the 4th of March.
Oh, wow.
Did you put your birthday wrong in the comments? Unbelievable. We've got Socrates. Guys, you can't let Ten Hag go. What team do you support again, Socrates?
It's not Man United.
Am I right in thinking that Socrates played for Gosford Town about 15 years ago?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He died a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, after he played for Gosport Town. Then.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry.
We got Matty Bassett bigging everyone up. We got Bart. Can you get Andy Tate? That's the first thing you say, Bart. You don't even say good evening. How are you? You say get another guest on. Fantastic. And of course, we have Stephanie Griffith, because I've been saying Griffiths, but it's Griffith.
Griffith.
Which I find it difficult to say that. Can you say that, Amonde?
Why are you coming to me first?
All right, Mr. B, can you say it? I have difficulty saying Griffith.
Griffith.
Stephanie. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's her name.
Just Steph, innit?
Yeah.
And we got the cake today. Evening, lads. Watching you and Rich at the same time isn't easy because, of course, there's some overlap with Rich Sports. I'm glad to see him doing well, but pleasure to have you here, Cake. Simon Warner, we have Southampton and Palace after the internationals, and if we lose those, we are in big trouble. It feels like we're in big trouble anyway, because I was thinking today, Mr. B, I know that you are, everyone knows this, a massive fan of Margaret Thatcher. And in Margaret Thatcher, in Margaret Thatcher's sort of downfall, I believe it started when someone in her cabinet said something along the lines of, "Doesn't she look tired?" And it was the start of her kind of like losing her grip on power. And I've been thinking all day about Arne Slot's interview with Sky Sports saying how he did over Ten Hag. And I think I can't see how Ten Hag's ever going to be able to get away from that, having his tactics discussed on national TV after a 3-0 loss by the guy who did it. Yabba, am I just being a paranoid android, or is there something to that?
Speaking of androids, I watched Alien Romulus the other day.
Wow.
Date night with the missus, and
it was rubbish.
There's an android in there.
Was it
He's
good?
brilliant, isn't he?
Was it good?
Yeah, really good.
Was the film good?
Sorry, Mr. B.
Was the film good? I tell you, every date night you've been on the watch this, you come out and said the film is shit.
Yeah, the film was all right.
Oh,
The film was all right. It was all right. Yeah. It was okay.
surprise! Okay.
Yeah, there's an android in it, and you just think, okay, how useful are androids? You know, not very good because they're not human. They don't have any feeling. But, no. They don't have feeling. It's always with androids. It's like they want to be human, or they always strive to be human, like Data in Next Generation, that sort of thing. But going back to the comment, I don't think it means it. I think it's quite refreshing that a manager comes out and talks tactics rather than the boring old questions we used to. I think that's refreshing. I haven't heard.
He didn't. He took the piss. He battered Ten Hag. That's more what he did.
But he's obviously we done you over 3-0. You know, all that kind of thing, like Trent was doing. He actually described in detail
How he battered him.
Yeah, exactly. He gave a description of how he did it, and I think that's really refreshing because Dutch football. This is what we're saying. We're talking cultures in football the other day about the Spanish. I thought they were more intelligent than fans, the way they applaud certain things. I think in Dutch football, it's all about philosophies and talking. Klopp is their god, so they always talk about philosophies of football and everything else. And it's great seeing that come over, and our managers now can be asked questions about tactics, and hopefully they'll be able to give better responses now. Hopefully Ten Hag will be able to explain in more detail. I don't know if you know these impersonators, you get the impressionists. There's one really funny guy who does all the managers, but he's put on like a cone head, bald-headed thing, and he does Ten Hag really well, and it's really funny. The interview he did with post-match from Liverpool, it hurt, but it was funny. I'll give him that. And, he's got Ten Hag down for his stuttering. He's got a twitch now because he's under pressure, all this kind of thing. So, it's good to see a manager talk tactics for once.
Is it though? Because Matty Bassett has brought this up, and this is why I feel that Ten Hag is going to have real problems from that. The interview Slot did was embarrassing. He easily explained how he dissected Eric's tactics.
And this was the point I was making.
Yeah,
and when they went one way with it, and I was more thinking about he's just blatantly taking the piss out of him. He's pressing me in 4-4-2, no problem. Let them come. We play it around them and then run at them because they've got Casemiro digging them down the middle. That's basically what he said.
I think it was a bit more respectful than that, but
yeah.
My issue is, Dora, is to go back to Margaret Thatcher. It all came down because people couldn't get away from the idea that she was tired and that she lacked energy and that she lacked the control that she used to have. And I will say that I'm getting this from an episode of Doctor Who I once watched. I don't know what was going on in her cabinet at the time. But I feel that when I see comments like Matty Bassett saying it was embarrassing, he told us like how he dissected Eric's tactics, I don't think that people can get away from that it's the narrative is too powerful. and it's genuinely the end of him.
Yeah, I mean, that's a reasonable take. I think look, if that happened on Croatian TV, like he's over, like if someone, for example, came in and it's a derby, Dinamo and Hajduk are playing, eternal derby. Dinamo wins, their manager goes and says, by the way, Gennaro Gattuso is coach of Hajduk Split, which is insane, by the way. Yeah, so random. And he goes on national TV after the game and says, this is what we blah. He would get clowned. Like it will be, he would get ripped from left, right, center. And England is even more ruthless, especially the media. And when a lot of fans all over the world are online, they're watching, of course, he's going to get ripped. And he was already down, in my opinion. I think he kind of, recovered after the season started or during the break because, people were saying, we won an FA Cup and, he kind of was back for a moment. And now, once again, he is once again at the bottom of the well, I would say, which is insane. And yeah, everyone is kicking him. And I think I said it on which stream, right? Like he reminds me of Gilderoy Lockhart from Harry Potter. That professor from Harry Potter, that the Kenneth Branagh character that only brags about his accomplishments, tactics, or spells or whatever, and he cannot create or do any spells. He's just messing it up, and that's Ten Hag to me. He's just all talk, no flavor, unfortunately. And I think that Slot, he, in my opinion, he did it respectfully because he was asked to do it on national TV on Sky Sports, and he respectfully, put him down, threw him back in the well. And I know it sounds harsh, but football is, of course, it's all tactical, blah blah, but it's all about respect. And I believe that a lot of people after yesterday or after Sunday lost respect of Ten Hag.
All right, should we look at some comments, lads?
Yeah.
All right, first of all, we've got Double A in the house. Salute to the UA crew, which is us.
Right?
Salute. I like being saluted. Arnie Slot, little bro Ten Hag, it's crazy. Still, according to Ten Hag, his Carabao Cup is something we should hold on to, and an 8th place finish isn't important. Sir Alec must be ashamed. We've got Richard Herbert saying, good to see you guys again. You're all looking well. Was awful Sunday, but it will change. Ugate's come in and a couple of others. Long way to go yet. Only 3 games. Let's keep the spirit alive, MUFC. Yeah, this is very much you, Yabba, isn't it? Overwhelming positivity.
Yeah. Big up Richard Herbert. Thank you.
Well, Steph says Ten Hag needs a gagging order served on him after matches. And Johnny is also saying, when Ten Hag got asked about his tactics from the journo, and he just said, but we win trophies, I cringed.
I think everyone did.
Mohammed, hello, sir. Erik Ten Hag is a waste. Man United future at the moment. Erik Ten Hag is making jokes with the club. He don't care about football. So I think we see where he stands. We deserve better. It's not the end of him as much as you'd like it to be. I certainly would. I don't think selling McTominay was the issue. The issue is not bringing in a replacement for his goals. And we'll talk about the squad and the comments that were made in The Athletic a bit later. Slot's trying to make himself popular with the Liverpool fan base as well. Not a bad way to start with a 3-0 Old Trafford, to be perfectly honest.
No.
Look, everyone, we need to drop the agenda. It's very transparent and old. Having opinions, backing them up and being consistent is not what we are about. Kate, you can talk about Slot's tactics, but Onana was doo-doo again in goal. Casemiro made 2 howlers. So did Kobe, and that's really why we lost. And Bilal was saying that Onana was terrible. God, look at this. It's just turned into the Onana show. I can see Onana conceding more goals again this season instead of us scoring goals. Onana is the worst keeper we have ever had. I keep saying this every week. Wow. All right. Hang on. Darius needs to apologise for handing out ETH. I haven't handed out ETH yet. All right. So today, boys and girls, there's been a big interview in The Athletic from Omar Barada and this other bloke. And I'll get it up. This essentially is what they were talking to. The other bloke was Dan Ashworth. So they talked about Ten Hag, the summer transfer strategy, the departures, the current squad, and the future. So, Mr. B, which one of those sort of excites you or you think is the most interesting?
Transfer strategy.
Yeah?
No,
Why?
actually, it's Ten Hag, to be fair. I want to know what they said about Ten Hag.
Did you not read it?
No, I didn't read it.
Brilliant.
Because I don't, let me put it in it. Yeah, God. Yeah, God. Ten Hag.
Yabba, did you read the interview?
I am subscribed, but I've been busy all day, so unfortunately
Okay.
I haven't read it.
Dora, did you happen to read the Athletic interview or see any of the quotes?
No.
That's what you're
Brilliant.
here for, bath time. That's
Okay,
what you're
good.
here for.
Lucky that we've got all the stuff here. All right, so we'll start off with Ten Hag, and Barada and Ashworth expressed their full support for the manager Ten Hag, saying he has their full backing and they absolutely believe in his abilities. Both executives also clarified that the decision to retain Ten Hag was made before they officially started working, but they support it and are committed to working closely with him. So I think where we'll start off with you, Mr. B. It's very strange to basically give a vote of confidence in the manager 3 games into the season.
Can I say
Dora.
something?
Yes.
It was confirmed that this was, the interview was done or whatever. Berardi said it before the game against Liverpool. Yeah, before the Liverpool game. Yeah.
Do you think that would change anything? The Liverpool game.
I think they are kind of, a bit angry about it. I mean, if they are, they don't care, I think that's an issue. I mean, we are losing to our bitter rivals, at Old Trafford. We actually got thrashed. So I think as someone, as a director of football, I would be kind of pissed. And of course the post-match thing as well. I think I would be agitated a bit after that result and everything else.
All right, well, Mr. B, what do you think of those comments saying full backing? They trust him, but they weren't there when the decision was made to, give him another season and things.
They've basically gone with the decision that the club were made, but it's not my fault if he's rubbish because it wasn't my decision to keep him. I think that's more along the lines of what they're looking at. I don't think they could have said anything else. They've given him 200 million. What did we spend in the summer? 150, 200 million?
178. We've basically given him everything but hair this summer. Okay. He's got everything that he wants.
178 mil. So it's not like he hasn't. Yeah, it's not like he hasn't been back. So for them to say anything else, especially after 3 games, regardless of if they probably would have said this. They would have said the same thing after the Liverpool game. Maybe, yeah, I think they would have done. He's only 3 games in. Don't get me wrong, if it carries on until Christmas and he keeps playing with this one holding midfielder that nobody in the world seems to be playing with, then fine. He'll cut his own throat, I suppose. But Agate is not going to be the be all and end all of the season. I think other players need to step up, and I'm not sure that they will, to be fair. So they're backing him, yes, publicly, but maybe they've got some doubts in there already.
Well, I mean, they clearly do because they were scuttling around all summer, seeing who was on the market. But as the leader of the Erik Ten Hag Football Club, fan club, what do you think? Is Mr. B being unfair, saying that they're distancing themselves from his appointment?
No, they're not. I'm just trying to gauge this. So great. The headline news is he has their full backing. This was before the game. I accept that. But it's great that they've come out and to support him because they did give him a new contract. They have to make this clear to the fans as well.
Sorry,
Mr.
was, you know what? It wasn't a new contract. Don't forget, it was only a year's extension. So
sorry,
I think
they
really?
I was meant to say.
Yeah, are they really backing him? Yeah, go on.
Well, they backed him by not sacking him after FA Cup, and I think there was a lot of people, fans especially, wanted them out because of the minus goal difference, 8th place in the league, so many defeats. And we haven't witnessed that in the Premier League before, so a lot of fans wanted him out. But the fans didn't understand what they were doing behind the scenes. They're all part of this together. They have to take equal responsibility for what's going on. So you're not going to smash someone 3 games into the season. I don't think. You've got to come out and make this statement, remind the fans that it's a project and they are part of as well. And they support the manager, they said there. But they clarified here, I'm just reading this again, that the decision to retain Ten Hag was made before their arrivals. But they support it and are committed to working with him closely, which we know they're doing. Throughout the transfer window, they've done that. They've been part of that. They've invested money with him. And the project's going to take time. If we want to close the gap, what we realise, we don't want to make huge jumps which are fake, which really don't have no foundation.
That's exactly what we want to do.
No, bath time, please. I don't think we can do that, because if you do that, like we have in the past, like we're buying big player-time players, thinking we can just make a huge jump, there's no stability there. I think you need to make slow steps, which is hoping these players that come in develop with us. We grow with them. We grow with that story. Each player, and then slowly we can get into that position where we do close the gap and we do start winning titles again, and then we can maintain it and stay there with with the formula that we've discussed here. Newcastle had money thrown at them. They've had a bad season last year with all the money. They haven't sacked the manager, have they? There's no talk about that. But we are the showcase club. We're there saying, disappointed. It has been disappointing. Arteta finished 8th twice, with their project. So we have to understand that things work. And this is what I'm saying. I'm going to give the manager more time, and I'm delighted to hear the guys behind the scenes backing him like this. I think it's a very positive move.
On Monday, look, I've normally got a Ten Hag poster up behind me. How long are you? I'm not saying he's delusional, but him going back to winning trophies, I'm not sure he understands the significance of how bad finishing 8th was. I would like to think that he's learnt from the end of last season in regards to the system that he played. But I don't think he has. And I'm wondering if his ignorance is going to get him the sack. Because he's not changing. He's not adapting to... You think he's changed? Do you think that this season, do you think we've changed in what we've been doing?
Yeah, we won the FA Cup in the last few games of the season.
But he didn't play like this on Monday. He didn't play how he's playing now.
Yeah, but this is the change. You had all summer, a whole pre-season to assess things with the new guys in charge. They, as they said there in the comments, they're working together closely.
No, I'm talking about Ten Hag's.
I'm talking about Ten Hag as well.
Okay, go on.
So we've got a sporting director, we've got a technical director to work together closely to look at the way to be successful. They have changed things, but it's not going to happen overnight. So I think,
but you say
we want 3 games in, we want 9 points, all this kind of thing. It's not going to happen overnight. I think you need to take steps towards that. And
would you be happy finishing 8th again on Monday?
Well, Arsenal finished 8th twice.
I don't give a fuck about Arsenal. I don't care. I don't care about Arsenal.
No, I hear that. But I wouldn't, of course, obviously I wouldn't be. We had this discussion earlier on. We said what we expect this season. We want a better performance. We want to see more points on the board and all that kind of thing. But after 3 games, and I'm seeing slight developments, I'm still content, not delighted. I'm content with the way we're going. And I'm delighted. I want to see the development of these players and improvement and tweaking the system to make it better, to make us harder to beat and score more goals. That's the point of football. To win games, you need to score more goals and make yourself defensively sound. We've got good recruits in defence. We've got a better system now to make us a bit more stronger, as in more resilient. And I think we've seen in that if we tweak things and get things right. And then we got players that can develop and we can see them grow. So I'm interested to see the project this season. I'm not going to, before I'm making judgment, get him out, this man out. We're not like Arsenal fans. We don't act like that. I'm going to sit back, observe game by game, and then rather than use my emotion, I'm going to use logic and say, can we take step forwards and see how it is? So let's assess it. Rather than assess it after 3 games, let's assess it after 3 months, maybe.
All right. Well, the original question was, did you think that it was interesting that they clarified that they weren't there when he was appointed? But I feel that this conversation is done, so we can check the comments. But nicely, you curved around that brilliantly, Yaba. Well done. We got DK Wilson. Where is he from, Dora?
Oh my God! Don't Seattle, Washington.
Nice. Big up, everyone. Sorry I'm late. We've got Simon who's saying Ten Hag is skating on very thin ice now, and it's going to crack under him. It's the dreaded vote of confidence. I feel that because of what Dora said, that it came out that the interview was done. Did you say it was done on Sunday before the game?
Yes, before.
Yeah,
the game.
so I don't even think it's a vote of confidence. Like, I don't. It's not a reaction to the Liverpool game, is it?
No.
Johnny is saying, to be honest, most owners would have said the same thing as them. It's very rare you see an owner say they don't back the manager. Exactly. If this season is the rebuild, hello, Chat Sport. If this season is the rebuild, then United will struggle. Net spend this transfer month was 80 million and 120 million in sales. Ten Hag will stay. It's very different to the calculations that I have. The interview was done before the match on Sunday. Yeah. Thank you. Right now, I trust Ten Hag like Dracula running a blood bank. Bart is saying United's clear out was impressive and much needed. However, one may argue the squad is weaker than last season in some ways, particularly in front of goal with departures of Martial and McTominay. Look, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading out like the people that Bart's
wow, did that pick that up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Mike did really well.
It's good. Players also know that 2 bad seasons and they are out the door, so they need to perform. So I think that you're saying it's not just the manager, it's the players as well. And then I quite like this from Bart. It's interesting to think that some people want Ruud to take over from Ten Hag. The latter has managed over 550 games in his career. What makes you think that Ruud will fix it? Does anyone here want Ruud to take over straight away?
No.
No, then you're having an imaginary fight with someone, Bart. 660 million spent from ETH on new players, and we are further behind than ever. Steph is saying United have given both Bruno and Rashford long contracts and big money, so we're stuck with them. It's going to be a struggle because you can't drop these out of form untouchables. And there was one from We Deserve Better. Here it is. Progress is slow. It took Fergie 7 years to win the league. All right.
7 years.
Was it Alan Pardew who got a 7-year contract at Newcastle United?
All
right.
Yeah.
All right, Dora. This is what we got next. Dutch connection. Ashworth addressed the perception of a Dutch bias in recruitment, explaining that it's natural for a player to work with familiar players, but many signings were unrelated to Ten Hag's Dutch connections, such as Ugarte and Xerxes, who he'd never met before. He went on to say the club aimed to make decisions collaboratively, balancing the manager's preferences with the recruiting department's recommendations. So what do we think about this? A lot of people have laughed about the fact that we've signed half the Dutch league. And I have to say, I think that there's massive Dutch bias at the club. What are they talking about, Dora?
I mean, Ruud, his assistant coaches are also Dutch. Okay, I can get. I mean, I don't care, right? But it's naturally, of course, the coach is going to look for his, buddies, friends, and whoever, his fellow colleagues, and they are mostly same nationality. But I mean, I didn't know that Mazraoui was actually his player at Ajax. I thought that he actually, that, you know, the board and everyone else. I mean, I like him, by the way. I'm not saying that he's bad. I think he showcased really good qualities, and I'm quite happy with him right now, and excited for the future. But I didn't know that Mazraoui was also at Ajax and Ten Hag was his manager, and I was like, okay, you know, we know about the leaked. I mean, what to say, right? Like, and another one. I mean, I always say, okay, there is no, you know, Dutch bias, but I feel like it's, you know, my boy's bias, because he also signed Onana. You know, Ajax bias, I would say. He signed Onana, he signed Anthony, he signed, you know, De Ligt, he signed Mazraoui, he signed Eriksen, who he trained as well
Onana.
at Ajax. I said Onana. Who else? Zirkse at Bayern? Or
Mount and Branthwaite, both he saw them playing in Holland as well, I think.
Yeah. That's actually true. So I think there is a bias. I think, of course, you know, with the infrastructure and everything else, we hoped that, you know, or I think the director of football and the scouting department and everyone else who are dealing with, you know, the negotiations and transfers, of course, they are going to, you know, give green lights to some of the players, you know. They will say, okay, not this guy. You can sign this guy. It will, you know, fit with our, you know, philosophy or whatever. I just feel like they maybe, you know, for this transfer window, I believe that most of these players are 90% of these, you know, transfers are Ten Hag's transfers. You know, Ugarte, I think it was his wish. He believes that he needs a destroyer in the midfield. We will see how that pans out.
He was unhappy with Ugarte originally.
Oh, really?
The department had to convince him that.
Oh, wow! So technically, it's not his. It wasn't his initial idea.
No, I think not his initial idea, but I believe that he's perfectly happy with the signing. But what
do you think that's better for the club moving forward? At the club, because it sounds, not saying they overrid his decision, but they obviously know how they want to play, or how they feel that they want to play. I'm happier that the club kind of took the decision to get Ugarte in, if you know what I mean.
It's similar to Salah, I think. Like Yabba, I can never remember who it was. It might have been Julian Draxler or someone, but Klopp had his heart set on a player, said, let's go for that player. And the transfer committee said, there's this little Egyptian, scruffy little tramp playing in Italy who's rather good. And they got Salah by going over the top.
Yeah.
Most certainly, yeah.
I think the reason, like, I think I'm okay with it, you know, with that point, Mr. B, of, you know, them, you know, deciding what kind of players are coming into the club, because his track record is awful. Like, if you look at the last two transfer windows that under Ten Hag that he signed, I mean, who actually panned out to be really good? Who panned out to be
Johnny Evans?
Johnny Evans. Like, seriously, Onana, in my opinion, he's appallingly bad. Mount is injured constantly. You can say, you know, the Casemiro was a kind of a panic buy because he wanted Frankie de Jong, but we couldn't sign him. So the club signed at that moment in time, I think it played, who was their judge and the other guys, Hegrips and Murto and those guys signed Casemiro for 70 mil. So I won't put, you know, the whole responsibility of that signing on him. But if you look at his signing in the last two seasons, like, what, except Johnny Evans, who actually panned out to be really good. Like, Anthony looks like a generational flop right now. I seriously don't believe, like, he doesn't rate him. We paid to Ajax 90 million euros or more, and he's sitting on the bench. And I see on Instagram, he has another kid. He has 2 kids. He's just making kids instead of playing football. He's like Martial. At least Martial was a great, you know, footballer at that moment in time. This guy is, you know, printing kids all over England.
Do you know what Martial's child was called?
No.
Swan Martial. I always remember that. Lovely,
I mean,
beautiful name.
It's cute. It's cute. Look, everyone, can name their babies like they want, but I think it's good, Swan. But it's just like which player? Like, I hope the league. I think the league, to be quite fair, despite us, conceding 3 goals, I think he kind of, did well yesterday. I like Mazarui. Hopefully, Ugarte is, it's a club signing, of course, not his signing, but technically not his signing, but we hope that they're going to pan out, but he's less than 2 transfer windows. Like, I don't believe that Berarda and the other guys trust him that much, because his player profile in the last 2 seasons, the last 2 transfer windows is, kind of suspect, in my opinion.
Can you imagine Berarda going to training like from Man City and watching 70 million Anthony, like trying to put a bib on and stuff?
Yeah.
All right, just before we get to you, Yaba, because I'm worried you're going to go like mega positive. If you're new, like and subscribe. Like we've got 25 people watching and all that kind of stuff, and it helps the channel out. We're on the road to, what are we on the road to, Mr. B? How many subs?
4,000.
400,000 subs by December, according to Mr. B.
I don't know where the 100,000 came from. Four.
No, we're on the road to 400,000. Yaba, start us off on that road by telling us what you think about them kind of dismissing that there's a Dutch bias and saying it's more about trusting people you work with and so on.
I don't know. Look, the Dutch bias thing is something that's quite obvious that comes to mind, because like Dora said, there's a lot of players that have come from Dutch football coming into Man United. Why? Probably to do with the manager, probably to do with people you trust, like Dora was saying. So there is something in it. I would, if I'm starting a new channel, I would, probably choose you guys, because I trust you guys, before anyone in the comments, because I don't know them like I know you guys. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're going to work with someone, you want to work with people that you're familiar with, you trust, you know what they're capable of doing. And I'm sure, like with Anthony, for example, I saw some comments there. Oh, they chose Anthony over Kudos, who plays for West Ham now, and that sort of things. But I'm sure that there must have been something about Anthony in the Dutch league where it felt he's going to be a generational talent, not a flop. Dora, that's a good one. So maybe by his skill base, and maybe he can transfer that to the Premier League. But I think he's got a rude awakening about the Premier League. And sometimes Dutch football or Dutch players, obviously they talk about when they're growing up, they want to be technical first before the physicality side of thing comes into it. But in the Premier League, you need to be tough and strong. And when you look at the players that really have made it, majority of them, and traditionally have always been, you need to have something about you. You need to be have that heart, desire, and that running power to be successful a lot of the time. Unless you can't be carried. I mean, BATHTIME made a good point yesterday about the last player that was carried winning a title was probably David Silva. So the Dutch thing is there, it's true. But the thing is, we just have to accept what we've got right now. And the window's shut. The window's shut now. Let's work and support. This is what I'm saying to understand about football team. If you're a supporter, you don't trash your team and everything. You've got to go through good times and bad times together. So now that the window's shut, and we've got Harry Maguire, and we've got Anthony, we've got all these players, when they come on the pitch, when they're playing, back them, support them. Because there's too much emphasis on booing and too much spotlight on every single player at Man United. We're doing it all the time. So we need to back whatever we got now. We might not like it, but let's back it and get behind it. Because if I went to a game, I'd be cheering them on, saying, come on, I'm Man United, let's cheer them on. I understand I grew up in the 80s when Man United had Ron Atkinson and we were winning FA Cups. It's similar to what we're doing right now. We won 83, we won 85, FA Cup against teams like Everton who were dominating, Liverpool dominating at the time, and Arsenal when they dominated late in the 80s. But it was real tough time to be a Man United supporter. But we had some great moments, like when we beat Barcelona, Maradona's Barcelona, and Brian Robson absolutely smashed it, that game. And we had some great moments beating Liverpool in the League Cup semi-final and things like that. So I just think we have to be realistic about where we're at and what we need, and going forward. And to be great again, it's not going to happen overnight. Everyone has their empire. All empires crumble, as Ten Hag said at the start of it when he arrived. And we're going to reach the time, if we do things properly and prepare properly, where we're going to be ready for combat in a couple of years' time if we continue and support the blood clot team, because that's not what happened right now. Too much slashing and slating of players and teams and management. This doesn't help us. What do you want to take a back step and bring someone else in now? Back the team, back the manager.
All right. Do you feel better now?
Yeah.
You've got that off your chest.
Yeah.
Telling people they're not allowed to have a different opinion. There's only
No,
one way to support a
I'm
football club.
encouraging people
Okay.
to say the window's shut. Let's just support what we got now. And then when it comes to the Christmas, or we can buy new players, or at the end of the season, we can decide, make a decision on the manager. Let's wait till then. But while now that everything's gone, support the blood clot team.
I think, though, like Yabba, that there should be some sort of stipulations with that. So, for example, with a player like Dan James that everyone thought was limited, I don't think that anyone would say that Dan James didn't put the work in, didn't have the right attitude, all that. Sorry?
You're supposed to.
And that's what I mean, is that so if you don't like Anthony or something like that, and it is about his attitude and it is about his work and the fact he didn't want to play left back and things, I think you're allowed to criticise that kind of stuff, regardless of if the transfer window is open or not. And we've also got Rodders, who I haven't seen before, but he's a secret agent. And he said he didn't think many Dutch managers have been successful. And Andrew said Dan James over Anthony. But, I mean, everyone would agree with that. And, Matty Bassett is asking, is anyone representing the United agenda on Saeed TV later?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
He said it. It's like he's going into a ring. He's ready for a fight.
I hope so. There's a lot of people there that could do with one.
Yeah.
We've got Mark Kuram. We got the treble in 99, and we'll get the other treble in 2029 under Eve. I hope your dentist appointment went well, because you're on some gas there. All right, and Randy is saying we must stick together as Manchester United. United we stand, divided we shall fall. So you've got quite a lot of support there, OMONDI, for your polemic about only supporting the football team.
Well, it's like you have rousing speeches. I'm like Margaret Thatcher on my cabinet. I might look at it. Still got it. I am not Iron Lady, the Iron Man. So yeah, I'm backing.
You're the Iron Man.
Yeah, he's Tony Stark.
Nice. All right, and unfortunately, Bart can't go and watch you on Side TV because he's been banned. But our next story is about the squad. So, Mr. B, Ashworth and Brader emphasised the importance of maintaining a lean but deep squad, making brave decisions to ensure that players are motivated and don't have a massive amount of players in the squad, such as Chelsea. Ashworth expressed satisfaction with the current squad composition, acknowledging that while no transfer window is perfect, they addressed the key positions they were looking to sort out. And they view this as the start of a long-term process focused on building a sustainable and competitive team. Mr. B, corporate speak, truth to it, bullshit. What are you thinking?
I would like to think there was truth to it, but I think it was probably more corporate. Let's be honest, if they could have got rid of Casemiro, they would have done. He's obviously not allowed to say that. I think between the both of them, him and Ratcliffe came out and obviously criticised the Casemiro signing in the first place. So obviously they would have rather he went. But to avoid a bloated squad, yes, I get it. He wouldn't have said money orientated and he wanted to get, a lot of wages off the bill. I really think it was more corporate. In fairness, I don't think they were happy with what they did, because they would have probably liked to have got money for Sancho. Yeah, they got him out, but they didn't get any money for him. You know, we've got Ericsson sitting down there. Maybe they didn't want to get rid of Scott, but had to do it to obviously to deal with FSP or whatever. But he said no, as he said, no transfer window's perfect. If you start saying your transfer window is perfect, it then puts you under more pressure to succeed, you know. So yeah, the wording was probably right, but I still think it was more.
Are you possibly suggesting here that this is like making a rod to beat Ten Hag with later, by saying that they've got in the key positions that they needed and they're happy with the squad, and it's now time to succeed?
Yeah, he's at the end of the day, he's got everything that he wants, everything that he needs is there. You know, he didn't sign him. They didn't. You know, is he now saying, you know, we didn't want him to stay, and now, you know, he's here. He's got everything he wants. Now he has to succeed. Yeah, I do.
Okay, Dora, do you think that they're telling the truth about that they've addressed the key positions, or are they, you know, just sort of towing the company line?
Company line. I think. Look. I think it's obvious that we need more, how do you say it, signings and upgrades in certain, positions. Left back is a huge issue still, because we have 2 injury-prone players there sitting there, and we are once again seeing our main right back playing there. We have problems with the midfield. We signed Ugarte, but is Collier going to be? Is Casemiro is probably going to be on the bench, but he's just.
He can't be if it's going to take him. If it's going to take
exactly
2 months to get fit.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe that Casemiro is probably going to go by at the end of the year to Saudi Arabia or somewhere else, because
nobody
it is
can
what it
afford
is.
him and nobody wants him.
It will be a miracle. I'm praying for a miracle. You know, I am like, those people in that Disney movie Prince of Egypt, they're like, oh, God, and all that stuff. But I believe that, they are actually planning for that. But yeah, I believe that's a corporate thing. Look, we obviously need improvements, and who knows, maybe by the end of the year, the club decides to, get rid of the left wing. Maybe Rashford is, there is a question about Rashford, how he is going to fare out in that position, because he doesn't look good right now. There is a huge question mark about, I know Bruno said that, there is also, Bruno is probably going to stay and all that, but who knows if he throws stinkers after stinkers after stinker every single game until the end of the year, he has another bad season. There is going to be another, question mark as well. So there are a lot of question marks at the end of the day. We signed players. Now it's time for the manager to, set everything in stone. But if he cannot do it, even with that, we still need something to strengthen this team, and yeah, there are a few more positions to do it.
Okay, just before we get to you, Yaba, I just want to quickly whiz through the comments, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Kieran is saying Ten Hag will be gone by Christmas, and he can't wait. It's getting quite close to Mariah Carey's season, actually. I might start listening to some.
Oh my gosh, shut up. It's 3rd of September, please.
Yeah, it's getting close.
What season? What are you talking about?
You know the song "All I Want for Christmas Is You"? Like after Halloween, they start playing it, and it marks the start of the build up to Christmas for me.
I already saw Halloween okay, it's September, but I already saw Halloween ornaments in Croatia, by the way. American influence. I'm just kidding. It's just Halloween ornaments, and I am expecting Christmas ornaments and everything, decorations around 15th of September in Miller and those kinds of stores.
Where?
So
Miller.
Miller, yeah. I'm not advertising. Please advertise us, Miller. Drop a DM. We will advertise you. But yeah, I am expecting Christmas ornaments around 15th of September, something like that. And it's insane, by the way. I hate it. Capitalism, right?
All right. Well, We Deserve Better has banned himself from Saudi TV, and he's a mob there. Let us know in the comments what channels you've been banned from and why. Right. Bart's got a serious point, which is that United squad lacks goals. I can think of one player in the roster that would score 10 goals before the end of the year. Is that Bruno?
Can't think of one player.
Okay. Simon is saying that injuries are the problem right now. Players from every position are crocked except the keeper. He just has problems holding the ball.
So, I mean, to be fair, where have we got Shaw coming in? Is Shaw going to do better than Dallow's been doing at the moment?
No.
I don't think so.
Right. So, we're praying for Ugarte to be better than Casemiro.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hoping that Højlund comes back and finds some form straight away, knowing Ten Hag's not going to play him the first game he's fit. He's going to give him 3.5 games, maybe.
Well, we got Barnsley like in the whatever it is, Carabao Cup, and then we got
but he can't go. He can't play. He surely can't play the big boys against Barnsley.
Well, I think he can. To be honest, I think that like he can play them to give them time. Like the ones coming back from injury. I don't know what Yoro's schedule is, but if Yoro's all right, he can get an hour at Barnsley. Like you can put Ugarte in, you can put Rasmus in. We've got basically the point I'm making is we've got a lot of games coming up because of the Europa League. And presuming that we stay in the Carabao Cup, that's going to be more games as well. So I think that players like Rasmus might have the opportunity to play themselves into the team. Whereas if we're just playing one game a week, you know that Heath won't change that team. That's just not his nature.
Okay.
All right. I'm lost. No, I'm not. Who's buying Rashford? Is anyone in the world that stupid? Elon Musk, maybe? I think
there is Chelsea.
I think people have been really unfair on Rashford. I don't think he's been anywhere near as bad as people are saying, and I'm not his biggest fan. Like
defensively, he's been better.
He put 2 on a plate for Xerxes. And he put 1 on a plate for Garnacho, missed an open goal. Dora.
I mean, he needs to do it all the time. Like, I know I am, getting on his back. I'm not blaming him solely for our results. I think the whole team is at fault. I think mainly the manager is at fault, to be quite fair, if you didn't notice already. But cool, he's defensively better. He, sends 1 or 2, good balls into the box, but he's playing 90 minutes and Ten Hag doesn't want to sub him off. He cannot get past his defender, which is an issue. He's not fast anymore. Like, he cannot wrestle against the Premier League type of defenders. And to me, he feels like he lost his spark. I don't see him make shots outside of the box anymore. I'm seeing him cutting in and holding the ball nonstop, waiting for 4 players to surround him. I think he's doing that very scarcely, very rarely, 1 or 2 moments in the whole game. I think that for a player that is supposed to be our mascot, who is supposed to be the face of the club, and he's on 350k a week, I think he's a supposed star. I think that's not good enough. I get what you're saying, but he's supposed to lead us. Him and Bruno Fernandes are supposed to lead us, and they cannot do it. And they cannot.
I think that's a very fair point. One of the reasons that I think the Rashford criticism is unfair is that last season people were saying that they wanted to stop seeing Rashford running into blind alleys. That whenever he got the ball, he couldn't keep it, and he never created for anyone else. And this season, I think that we've seen him creating for other people, looking after the ball, and not just like running down a corner. So I can see that he's trying to adjust his game a little bit, and obviously his performances aren't good enough. But I don't think that he's been anywhere near like the worst performer. But anyway, Casemiro on loan to Galatasaray. We saw this story earlier.
They signed Victor Osimhen. That totally, went over my head. I was like, who gave you money, Erdogan? Like, where did you get the money?
A loan deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a loan deal. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Well, they cheat, the Turks, because they have like their transfer window open longer than anyone else's. So like Osman had to go somewhere. Like he wasn't going to spend 6 months doing nothing.
Yeah.
Kerwin Nixon, shout out to your Uncle Richard, is saying that after Thanksgiving, Christmas officially ramps up in the US. I quite like this from Bilal. The only good thing about Cass is that he's a goal threat, and he is. He's one of the only people in the team that can score. Bilal is also banned from the Stretford paddock. He doesn't know why. Kieran, unsurprisingly, is banned from quite a lot because he speaks his mind, and they don't like that. They're not ready for the truth, are they? I was wrong about Yoro. He's still on crutches. And Steph says that our midfield trio needs to work as a unit, which is very true. And Randy says we do have the best manager with one of the worst teams. We are improving the squad. And look, the last one that we had, right? Yeah, I'm so sorry, Yabba, I forgot. Go on.
No, I'm going. I'm going to say enjoy the show. I've got a chip. But yeah, big up, guys. I want to see what this late slide is before I slide out of it.
Where are you off to?
I'm
Saeed
going
TV.
to Saeed TV.
Oh, good luck.
Are you going hot and heavy tonight?
Sorry?
You're going in all hot and heavy? Ready to...
Cool. Yeah, I'm going just to take it all in and see. It's good to get different perspective from other fans and other people in the panel as well. Everyone's got different opinions. Spicy at the moment, isn't it, with the loss against Liverpool? So it'll be an interesting show. Guys, respect. I'm out. Later.
Thank you for your time, Yabba. Right. Long-term success. So basically, what they said is Omar Brada was talking about if you make a mistake and if you overspend or get a player who can cost you too much, it can set you back. Right? So this is about sort of squad building. And the goal is to compete consistently, Premier League, Champions League. And that in order to reach like Man City's kind of level of a superstar squad with everyone happy, it's about consistent good decision making over time in regards to the transfer market. So when we think about a player like Anthony, Mr. B, has he really set us back with the amount of money we spent and how rubbish he is?
Yep. And they said they're going to give players 2 years to prove that they're worth it. Now, if they're true to their word, then Anthony needs to play like, prime. Can't think of anybody prime that he has to play like to keep his position. And I think that will be the same for Rashford as well. If they're not performing and it's been 2 years, maybe that'll be the same with the manager as well. They'll get him out. And that's what they kind of brought Barada in. Those are decisions that they're going to want him to make. And I think if he decides that, this player needs to go, they'll work on getting them out. They'll work on ways of getting them out.
Dora, in terms of sort of sensible squad building and making the correct decisions with a sort of financial tinge, how do you think that like Bruno and Rashford on those big contracts, do you think that's sort of going against it? Because we've given Bruno this contract under Ineos.
It kind of does. But, Anthony is also on 250, if I'm not mistaken, which is a lot. And he was on 5? Like he was on very little money in Dutch league. You have all new signings. Mount gets number 7 and he is on 250k a week. I don't think he played 15 games for us. I think that Rashford and Bruno are obvious, culprits, right? Because Rashford is on 350k. Bruno is around 300. Is he on a bit less?
Do you know what? You see the money Rashford's on. People talk about the money Rashford's on. You see, if Rashford was scoring goals, nobody would talk about the money he was on.
Yeah,
It's just that he's not doing his job.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's more what I think it is. If he was producing and being involved, I mean, I get what you're saying, Bathtime, about his the 3 or 4 chances that he's created this season. But to be honest, the fact that the forwards didn't put them away, it's probably harder for Rashford because he put one on the plate for Garnacho. The ball was behind Garnacho, to be fair, and the pass.
Garnacho should score that every day.
But no, but I'm still saying he didn't score it. Yeah. The 2 for Xerxes in the last game, and he had, I think he's probably had another couple. So you can say he's been unlucky, but at the same time, last season when people were passing him the ball in front of goal, and he was missing, so now it's kind of on the other foot. So the part of him keeping hold of the ball more, yes, he's doing. Tracking back, he's doing more. The pressing part of it, I just don't think he's built. His mind is geared to pressing, and the fact that Ten Hag insists on getting him to press, maybe physically his body just doesn't want to do it. It's horrible just running for the sake of running. You play football, Bathtime.
I do.
You know, to press and to know you're pressing, you need to have that. You need to have that inbuilt. Mount has that inbuilt in him. He will do it all day and all night. Rashford, that's not his game.
Yeah.
He's a luxury player, I would say.
Well, that's the interesting thing, is because I think you're both right in what you're saying. Like, I do have the inbuilt desire to sort of press. Like, I like running and things, but I'm also quite slow, so I can run forever. But players like Rashford, because they're just all fast twitch muscles, they can go so fast for like 15 or 20 meters, but they can't do it over 60 or 70 for a whole match. And when you look at players like Vinny Jr., Leao, Nico Williams, maybe even Mbappe and stuff, these players shouldn't really be used in presses, because they need to be they need to be on the last line, fresh, able to use their energy to sort of score goals. So they have people around them that carry them. And I think the issue with Rashford is that if you're not producing, and that's not, giving people open goals, that's actually scoring the goal, I don't think he's suited for us long term. So I think that was a poor contract to hand out. But at the time, it was fine. As Mr. B said, he's doing well. But Bruno's the interesting one to me, because I don't think that he has shown the levels that we've come to expect from him since the system change.
So why do you think they gave him the extension? If
desperation.
There was ruthless, as in there was nobody on the market, or they just couldn't afford to let him go now?
I think it's a combination of both. I think that if you let Bruno go, you have got to replace your captain. And Bruno's a poor captain on the pitch, but I bet you he's amazing off it. Like, I remember when Rashford crashed his car, Bruno was the first person that turned up to whinge to the police about something. So you've got to get ready to captain. And the thing is that you can get anyone else that you want in, but the character of Bruno, someone who backs every manager, backs every player, is never injured, always available. Plus, the only player with spark.
Do you think he always gives 100%, Bruno, as well? I actually think he always gives 100%. Yeah. It might be channeled in the wrong way sometimes, but okay.
Like, I've never seen I think against Liverpool, Bruno did actually hide a little bit for the first time because we didn't really see him, but he puts in the effort. So when Bruno has a bad game, you still get 100% running and physicality and trying from him. And with all that in mind, plus the goals and the assists, I think it's impossible basically to replace him with where we are at the moment. Anyone we get in, I think, lowers our football team. So, like, for example, if we got in James Maddison, or we put Mount in, or heaven forbid, we got a Donny van de Beek in, not only does the team suffer, I think the club suffers as a whole. And so that there was no real choice but to give Bruno what he wanted, because he's just so important to every aspect of us at the moment.
But to the initial question, I think there is a lot. There are a lot more culprits of high wages that we gave to the players in the last few years to balance the books, and hopefully with new signings, the board is going to implement a better wage structure. Because I remember when Ten Hag came in, he said that he would, and I think there was a story of they want to limit the wages of the players around 200K a week. Something like that. It was the numbers were around that. So yeah, hopefully that. But yeah, I agree with your points. I think that I believe that Rashford is a luxury player. He's not built to press. But I don't believe that any of the maybe few players in the team know how to actually press, because our press is non-existent at this moment in time. It's just very poor.
It's just Mason Mount, isn't it?
Yeah, and. To your point of, to your point, Mr. B, about wages, right? When Rashford is playing poorly, everyone is, mentioning his wages. When he's playing, when he scored 30 goals, no one better than I, that he is, on 350K a week. Remember Gareth Bale, like he was on 600K a week at Real Madrid. He played, whenever he was healthy, he would play insane, but most of the time he would, be on golf courses and all that. But when he came out in those Champions Leagues, where he would, carry the team, he performed, and no one gave a shit about it. On the other hand, you have Eden Hazard, who got signed from Chelsea, and he was on insane amounts of money. I think the other, like few months ago, they finally gave him, they paid him off finally. Like, when he was there, he played 20 games for them, and he got injured and got fat. Like everyone was mentioning his. Like if Rashford was, from the next game, if he starts scoring goals, he starts performing, I would never mention his wages. But there is a responsibility with that. He is the face of the club. He needs to face that responsibility. Put on his big boys pants and start playing football. But something is wrong, right? Something is clearly wrong with him, the way he plays. And, as fans, we can only commentate on it, be more empathic towards him, because if the player is looking like he's sulking, if he doesn't look happy on the pitch every single game, then something is wrong in his private life. I won't speculate. I'm not interested in that. Like, that's his thing, but there is something wrong with him. So, hopefully the club, maybe, those sports psychologists that we talked about when Ten Hag came in, like, where are you? And Rashford probably needs to help himself as well. So it will be interesting to see how he's going to fare out. But I don't believe that he's close to being dropped, even after those stinkers that he consistently throws out on Old Trafford or any pitch in England. I believe that Ten Hag,
I think he might be taken out in the next game.
Oh, really? You believe so?
Yeah, because of the booing. Like, do you remember in the Liverpool game where he didn't take a one-on-one and he got booed? Like,
I get it, but I don't know. Maybe he, maybe because, maybe he goes with Garnacho and Ahmad. Maybe you're right, but yeah, it will be interesting to see that situation.
The thing is, even him not running past a player one-on-one, you see, if he even played a 1-2 and then went past the player, he doesn't. It's like he doesn't even. The pass that he makes is a square one, but he doesn't go for the follow-up pass. He stays in one place. You see what I mean? So it's like, maybe you're right. I'm just not sure if you're going to be taking a player. Maguire used to got booed, Duff.
Yeah,
but he still played.
It's different character.
Yeah, but sure. I mean,
yeah, that's a good point.
If that's what I mean, he gets taken out for his own good. to be honest, because home fans booed him, like from the South stand or the Sir Bobby Charlton stand as well. Like that is not going to have been missed by anyone there. And we've also got Ruud back now, who like Ten Hag, Hake, they might not fully understand United fans. Ruud does, and I think that that Rashford needs a bit of a break. And to be honest, I think that booing is the end of Marcus Rashford as a Manchester United player. I suspect that he will be exploring his options with a bit more intent now, because it represents the break. It represents a broken relationship between him and the supporters, and like it's crushing for an academy boy. That's absolutely crushing. And he's not Harry Maguire. He doesn't have that thick-headed, like obstinate will. He's a sensitive boy, I think. What do you think about that, Mr. B? Am I wrong here?
No, I think you could be right. As much as I don't really want to admit it,
brilliant.
You could be right.
Yeah, because the other thing is that we're going to have to end the show soon, but there needs to be changes from the Liverpool game that isn't just Casemiro. Like players didn't perform in that game, and there needs to be consequences.
Well, they've got 2 weeks to sort it out. Who's got on? Rashford. Who's got an international duty?
Ugarte, Martinez.
I'm glad he's gone. I reckon he got game time. I'm glad he's gone.
De Ligt, probably Xerxes.
Yeah, well, I would assume.
I mean, the problem here, Bruno and Delo, I think, will go, but we don't actually have a squad full of internationals anymore.
Which is good. Just the rest of them can stay back and learn tactics.
Well, Luke Shaw will probably go for England, obviously.
No, he won't go.
Play a game.
He won't go. He should be. Apparently, he's going to be fit for the next game.
Bollocks.
It's not going to help. It's not going to help us because he doesn't score us goals.
Yeah, and he doesn't really create any either. Should we do the comments and then all go and brush our teeth?
Yeah.
All right. So let's get some likes in though, people, from the 25 people watching. We have Steph saying selling Bruno could have been our Coutinho moment, i.e. using the funds to turn into a title challenging team the way that Liverpool got. Who did they get? Was it Van Dijk and Alisson with Coutinho money? But then again, it could also be our Gareth Bale moment. Like, Garnacho never expected Rashford to pass to him, almost had a Connery. All right, Big G. How are you, Gavin? Arnie Slot said it in an interview. Tactically, United are playing exactly the same way they did last season. That's not true. ETH is one-dimensional and predictable. This comes back to that thing we said at the start of the show, but I hope that you're doing well, Big G. United should play with 2 holding midfielders, same as Liverpool did on Sunday. I mean, I'd be happy with just 2 midfielders. Casemiro, man, I don't know what he's playing as anymore. A false 6. Invisible 6. When Nixon, he's a false 6. Like, no defensive midfielder should ever be popping up in the 6-yard box trying to score a header. It's ridiculous. Iron Man Bruno's okay, in my opinion. For the most part, he's always available, one of our best players. He's honest and he gives a shit, so I don't mind the money. Mount, Anthony, Casemiro, Luke Shaw are the issues. I agree. I think that whilst there is criticism, he's not the biggest. He's not the biggest problem. I'd add Onana to that list. I think Onana's really got to be stepping up for it. Cake Debt, on the other hand, is sick of Bruno, and he has been for a couple of years now. He's allergic. Decent player, but he's a terrible captain. Bruno's set pieces are turd. I have to say, I'm also deeply unimpressed with Ahmad's set pieces. He's taken 2 corners. They've been bollocks.
Awful.
So, like when you were talking, Mr. B, about like getting Luke Shaw back, I thought about bringing up that Shaw's our best left-footed set piece taker, but we never score from set pieces.
I think our best isn't Mount or Eriksen. Aren't Mount or Eriksen the best corner takers?
The ones who don't play, that helps us. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Ericsson, you would think, would be our best taker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Martinez try and take a left-sided corner, to be honest. Technically, he's a very, very good player. I'm sure
the first game, Ahmad's deliveries were pretty good.
What, against Fulham?
Yeah, wasn't he?
They were dreadful. They were dreadful.
They were
really bad. He couldn't clear the first man, and he did it again against Liverpool.
Are you sure?
I'm positive because we did it on the eye test. At least Rash is not an England team, or is he? If not,
no, he's not. He ain't been called up.
Flex Felix is in the house. His cousin's just signed for Chelsea. I think he gets dropped, and we got to see Hoyland and Xerxes. Oh, Theatre of Dreams is now the Cemetery of Dreams. It's like a coma. It's back to the Louis van Gaal days. You remember that Christmas, Mr. B, where we just every game was a draw. I still think that's the worst it's ever been.
No,
ruined Christmas. Not even Mariah Carey.
Last season was worse. I'm sorry. Last season was worse.
All right. Well, on that positive note, I'm just going to say hi to Garnacho_Manchester United on Twitch, PogChamp. And here's a PogChamp as well. It's Eddie with 25 likes. Thank you very much for coming in. I think we're going to call it a day here. OMONDI is on Side TV, and I get the impression that OMONDI is going to snap tonight, so I might actually watch it for once. So go and offer your support there. We'll be back tomorrow. Yeah. I don't know what we'll be doing tomorrow. I've recently been investigating the case of Enoch West, who was banned in 1915 for match fixing, banned for 30 years, and he claims he was innocent. So that might have to be a show at some point. International break.
So you're cosplaying that American crime drama, procedural crime TV show called
which one?
Cold Case.
Cold Case.
Yeah.
I was thinking more about. I suspect you won't know who this is, but CAD File.
What? I didn't hear.
CAD File.
I don't know what that is.
Look, just say bye and just you lot can have that conversation in the chat.
Yeah, okay. Lacanotches, everyone. Lacanotch. Go on, Mr. B, say it.
Lacanotch.